First of all, can I get your name?
No.
What?
I'm a Scientologist, been a Scientologist for about 8 years.
8 years, okay.
The word Scientology means study of knowledge. It's a philosophy, an applied religious philosophy that allows you to know how to know things and solve the problems of your life. Just imagine. Are you there?
I'm there. I'm here. Sorry. I've only seen what I've seen on social media, and I don't feel like that's a fair depiction of anybody truly.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, true. Now the negativity there, somehow, people just take it and run it and just there's all this, it's just a kind of fluffed up where people believe it and they don't even know.
But
muting me while I'm talking, muting yourself while I'm talking.
No, I'm not.
A good percentage of people are actually aware enough and awake enough to be able to be like, whoa, wait a minute, what do you actually do?
I'm fully awake. I had like 2 Celsiuses today.
You have 2 what?
2 Celsiuses. Have you tried Celsius?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a drink at 7-Eleven.
It's actually pretty. Okay, cool.
You can say that. She wanna hop in the Rari. I can't get that fucking song out of my head. I can't get that. I know I'm not supposed to be singing that song, but I can't get that song out of my. I get home and away. They just don't understand me. Rocking swastikas cause I'm a Nazis. But hey, man, what's up? Welcome back to episode number 25. We made it a quarter of a way to 100. What's up, dude? Welcome back. I'm in the loud chair today, as you can tell. So I'm gonna try and remain as still as possible and look at you guys and say hello. But you know what I'm saying? I had to get that one off because it's been bothering me that song's been going in my head, and I think I just needed to stop listening to it because it's kind of going away now. But reading Mein Kampf 2 chapters before I go to sleep, and then she wanna hop in a Rari. Like what? But yeah, dude, what's up, man? Welcome back to episode 25. I'm Robert Hernandez. You know the whole fucking spiel. You know the thing, right? You've been here before. And if you haven't, welcome in. Welcome to the madness that is Loose Ends with Robert Hernandez. I'm your host, Robert Hernandez. Dude, I got a bone to pick. I got a bone to pick. That's me right now. I got a bone to pick. Not really. But I do want to smoke, though. I'm in a smoking mood, so. Lil Wayne. I'm about to hit you with the Lil Wayne lighter flick off camera, though, because, you know, got to respect YouTube. Big brother. That was a good lighter flick, huh? Lil Wayne would have paid me for that one. That was a good one. No, but I feel like smoking because I'm feeling investigative today. And I was driving home. And on my way home, there's a Scientology building, right? And if you live anywhere in Los Angeles, really, in all corners of Los Angeles, there exists Scientology buildings, from Inglewood to the Valley, Central LA, Redondo, the South Bay, wherever you are. There's Scientology buildings around you. You might not notice them because you're not a Scientologist, but I just need to know what's going on with them. What are they up to? What do they have to? Do they have anything to say? Is what I found myself asking myself on the way home. I was on the way home, and I was hold on. I was on the way home, and I was driving, and there's this Scientology building in North Hollywood that I always see on my way home. It's on my way home from work. And this wasn't the first time I've seen this. I've seen this on multiple occasions where I drive by listening to my Nazi Kanye song. Right. I get high, they just don't understand me. Anyways, but I drive by the Scientology building, okay? I go to I don't go there, but I drive by there. And on multiple occasions, I've driven by and I've seen a bus, right? Getting loaded with people. And I always catch myself thinking, like, where the fuck are these people going? Now, here's the thing, dude. I don't know what you guys know about Scientology. I don't know what you don't know about Scientology, but hopefully by the end of this podcast, you're going to have a little bit better of an understanding of what those fucking people believe, okay? And I'm not here to judge them for what they believe, nor am I here to say that it's wrong or that they're crazy or whatever. I'm just going to give you what the internet tells me. We're going to package it up, and hopefully by the end of this, the next time you talk to somebody and they ask you, about Scientology, or Scientology comes up, you'll have something to add and you won't be clueless. And the only point of reference that you have won't be the Leah Remini Going Clear documentary or whatever, like hopefully you'll have some more information. But basically, I saw these people getting loaded onto the boat. Sorry, bus, not boat. Why would they be on a boat? Where are they taking them? We'll get to that later. But they're loading them on the bus. I can't smoke weed. I can't smoke weed anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I'm just kidding. I still can, dude. They're getting on the bus. And what I noticed before, and this isn't the first time I've noticed it, I'm not profiling anybody. I'm just telling you exactly what I saw. That's all I'm doing here. I'm just telling you what I saw. What I saw today was a bunch of people who look like they just arrived to this country, right, being put on a bus that was outside of the Scientology Center. And that made me curious, right? Because why are you taking people that maybe have just gotten here that I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm saying, there's a vibe of people sometimes when they, like, you ever see somebody that you could just tell they just got here just by like how clueless they're looking around? Like they're just standing on like on a really busy corner and they're like, just looking around. I'm and I'm not trying to get myself in trouble here, ladies and gentlemen, but they're immigrants. They were immigrants. They were getting immigrants on the bus. I did not see a white person there. I did not see an African-American person there. I didn't see a fucking Asian guy there. I saw a bunch of fucking dudes that look like they were from Venezuela and fucking El Salvador and wherever else in South America, all the other countries I'm probably forgetting about right now. Okay. But they're putting them on this fucking bus. So immediately I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Where are they taking these people? Right? So, I come home, I'm doing my thing, I'm just going about my day, whatever. I'm thinking about Scientology a little bit. And I don't want them to think that I'm interested in Scientology. I'm just thinking about what do they got going on? What they must be doing something right. If there's so many people and they're such a massive organization, they stretch the whole world. They cover the entire world. What do they got going on, right? So I'm sitting here in my room trying to think like, oh, what am I going to talk about episode 25? And then it clicks to me, oh, I can spend 30 minutes talking about Scientology because I have nobody that can tell me I can't. Okay? So that's what we're going to do today. I've pulled up a couple links. I've found a couple Reddit posts from people that were in Scientology at one point, from people that are just researchers of Scientology. I've even gone to the Scientology website. And once again, if anybody that is a Scientologist is listening to this, I just want to be very clear up front. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that you are doing anything wrong, or that or that you're some sort of fucking, crazy organization that's like trafficking people or whatever. But hey, I don't know. I'm just gonna read what I read, and hopefully we'll come to a conclusion. Okay, Scientologists? All right, dude. Well, welcome to the show anyways, man. Rockin' swastikas cause all my N-words Nazis. That's what he says, not me. Kanye said that. But yeah, dude, so, first thing you do when you're looking into Scientology is I talk to Google like it's a person, and I don't ask Google questions. I command Google to do things for me. I say, tell me about Scientology in simple terms, okay? Scientology in simple terms. And like, that's the thing, is that like from the outside and with just a very limited amount of information, Scientology doesn't sound that bad. Like when you just read the Google analysis of what Scientology is supposed to be, the AI overview that Google Gemini gives you, I'll just read it and we'll be clear, okay? Which that also means we're eventually going clear. We're going clear, ladies and gentlemen. So hop on the fucking Scientology train. We're going to Xenu. All right. We're going to fucking Xenu. We're becoming clear today. This is what Google has to say though. Scientology, founded by L. Ron Hubbard in the 1950s, is a religion that focuses on the concept of an immortal soul, or Thetan, and its journey through the multiple lifetimes. It emphasizes a process called auditing to clear past traumas and achieve a state of clear, where the individual can access higher abilities and a more spiritual state. So right off the bat, right? L. Ron Hubbard. I mean, I kind of looked into this guy a little bit. Apparently, he was kind of a fucking wacko. He was kind of a crazy guy. He kind of had some outside of the box ideas, if you will. L. Ron Hubbard was, if you ask some people, a religious figure or some sort of prophet of his religion. If you ask other people, he was a crazy whack job that wrote science fiction books, which eventually later became Scientology, the religion. Right? It just depends on who you ask. My personal opinion is this is a guy that got really, really excited about one of his ideas and took it to the fullest extent, which if I have to give him credit for something, I'll give him credit for that. I'll give you credit for the fact that, hey, look, man, I'm going to tell people that we are actually immortal beings, that we are human, that we are Thetans, humans, and we are immortal spiritual beings who have lived countless past lives. You know, that's what he told people, and look, man, if you're charismatic enough to get somebody to believe that, who the fuck am I to tell you that you're wrong? Okay, but let's move on. Scientologists believe that humans are immortal spiritual beings, or Thetans, that inhabit different bodies throughout countless lifetimes. They believe each Thetan accumulates engrams, or subconscious recordings of past traumatic experiences which negatively impact behavior. The process of auditing is a key element where individuals are guided through a series of questions and exercises to identify and neutralize engrams. By clearing engrams through auditing, individuals aim to reach a state of clear, a state of mental freedom, and heightened abilities. Heightened abilities. You know, Hubbard's initial focus was on Dianetics, a self-help system for mental health, which later evolved into Scientology, incorporating a more religious framework. After reaching the clear state, individuals can progress to more advanced levels, eventually becoming operating Thetans, or OTs, who are believed to have the ability to interact and influence the world around them as detailed in the literature. So that is what Google told me, right? So I was like, okay, this can't be right. Google's going to give me like probably some shit that was most likely sourced from the Church of Scientology's website. So, you know, you got to hit up Reddit for shit like this, right? And I found a dude that did an AMA on Reddit where he has a pretty crazy story. He was a Scientologist as a kid, and he believes that he was trafficked for labor by Scientology from the ages of 15 to 18, and his parents were totally okay with it, which is pretty wild. But here's what he has to say. He says, when I first joined, I was working about 10 hours a day, doing all kinds of manual labor and janitorial work. The other 6 hours, I would study stuff written by Hubbard, then shower and sleep. There were a couple of meals in between. After this, I worked 24 hours a day. Occasionally went several days without sleep for 365 days a year. I moved to working in the basement of the Advanced Organization of Los Angeles, where I was responsible for computerizing their central files. These files contain letters and invoice documents written to and by anyone that had ever bought anything from the organization over the life of the organization. I was also responsible for installing Cat5 connections all over the building so people could access the computerized system. That's when he was 15. This guy sounds advanced. Okay, he just kind of details what he was doing for a while. But this part right here is pretty interesting right here. He says, after this, I was transferred to Florida, where most of my work was studying L. Ron Hubbard's text to prepare me for different lines of work down the road. This was a bit easier of an assignment than my other ones, and I cherished it. I was assigned here because I was submissive and didn't cause too much trouble in my earlier positions. Pause. A little weird. A little weird when you get elevated in an organization because of the fact that you're not causing trouble. You know, that's weird. Eventually, this position would get me in trouble because I caught feelings for a fellow staff member who was male. So that's the thing, right? They don't like gays, which, hey, man, if you believe in aliens, here's the thing about that, right? Hey, Hey, Scientologists, if you believe in fucking aliens and in the fact that, you know, there was a guy named Xenu when the Earth was called something called something fucking crazy. The Earth had a different name apparently, and there was a guy named Xenu that locked up a bunch of souls inside of volcanoes, and that when those volcanoes bursted, they all fragments of those beings' souls leached out into the earth and eventually would capture the pure souls and like the human bodies of humans. And now they believe that's like why. Like, how are you going to believe something as crazy as that theory, but then also at the same time not believe that maybe sometimes a guy wants to fuck another guy in the ass? You know, like what the fuck? Like, I don't understand. Or like, is it that they don't believe that somebody can be gay, or do they not like that somebody is gay? Because those are two different things. I feel like especially the older generations, I feel like they don't like if you tell somebody that's like 95 years old, I bet they can't even fathom the fact that sometimes dudes like to put their dicks in other dudes' asses. Right? But if you talk to like a 31-year-old and you're like, yeah, sometimes my brother fucks his friend John, right? Your 31-year-old friend's gonna go, oh, okay. Like, they don't see a problem with it. Whereas the 95-year-old person that you tell can't even comprehend that would happen with between a dick and an asshole. They can't even think about that image in their mind, a dick inside of an asshole. You know? So what is it, Scientologists? I need you guys to get in the comments, and I'm not inviting Scientologists to comment, but I'm just saying maybe I am. Okay? I'm not saying I want to be one. That's all. I'm just saying that you know, you guys have questionable beliefs. So you're telling me that there's aliens and that you guys are aliens and that we're all immortal and shit, but at the same time, dudes can't fuck dudes' asses? That seems a little improbable to me. That's all I'll say about that. Okay. He says, on my way out, I was sent to work in the tunnels under L. Ron Hubbard Way in Hollywood, California. Down there, I was assigned to organize moldy storerooms of items and files, box up and ship books to other people, ad hoc manual labor and janitorial work, and shred papers in an industrial shredder. I took advantage of being on the way out and typically started work at 9 a.m. and was in bed by 10 p.m. This was simultaneously the best and worst part of my trafficking experience, in that I got lots of sleep, but I also couldn't stop thinking about killing myself over the humiliation. Okay, took a turn. Sad. A little bit sad. Okay, I didn't want to know that. But, you know, and the thing about these Reddit threads too, about on like the Scientology Reddit threads, is that they are, I'm just going to take these off. They are, I feel like, heavily monitored by representatives from the organization, and they probably do have to redact stuff. Like, look at this. I've never seen somebody redact shit on a Reddit post. So I'm just kind of weary of like what they would do. What are they going to do to me when they find this, you know? Hopefully guys, be nice. I'm just curious about what you guys got going on. I'm not criticizing you in any way other than like, you know, kind of criticizing you about the fact that you guys don't like gay people. That's not cool. But okay. So that was one Reddit thing that I found. Right? And I found this other one in r/religion. Sorry. No. This was a very good kind of explanation right here that this person made on this one. They said, okay, tell me that this Reddit post doesn't sound like they might be a Scientologist. Ready? Scientology, at its most basic, is a way of approaching life. Its main theory is about following Dianetics, which tries to train your mind to let go of past experiences. All of our experiences give us engrams, and if we let the engrams control us, we'll be afraid of things we've encountered and unable to live life to its fullest. My aunt, uncle, and cousins are all Scientologists. My aunt used to be afraid of spiders because she had bad engrams about them, but then she let go of the engrams and is no longer afraid of spiders. My aunt and uncle are fairly high-level Scientologists, so they also have to take a test every day or several times a day that will tell them if they're lying to themselves. Okay, crazy. Now, all that sounds nice and healthy. No, it doesn't. Let me say that. Hey, whoever wrote this. Hey, fucking girl on the internet. Hey, girl. This does not sound good and healthy, but, you know, whatever. You start learning about the aliens and the things that that other Redditors have explained very well. And that's where Scientology starts becoming very scary. Also, the church infiltrated the FBI in the 1970s and destroyed all of the files that had been built up about Scientology and their shady behavior in an operation that is called Operation Snow White, right? Okay, let's go learn more about Operation Snow White. Wikipedia. Operation Snow White was a criminal conspiracy by the Church of Scientology during the 1970s to purge unfavorable records about Scientology and its founder, L. Ron Hubbard. This project included a series of infiltrations into thefts from 136 government agencies, foreign embassies, and consulates, as well as private organizations critical of Scientology carried out by church members in more than 30 countries. So, okay. So here's my thing, dude. Or I don't even have a thing. I gotta stop saying that. I don't have a fucking thing. Here's what I'm fucking putting together right now. Okay? Scientology people, you're telling me that there was fucking there was fucking 5,000 different people who were covert agents working for the Church of Scientology inside of the US government is what you're telling me? Huh? What did you just say? Huh, that seems kind of treasonous to me. That seems like something that would probably get you charged in some sort of way, like by the justice system in some sort of way. I mean, hey, I don't know anything about law, people. I'm just telling you what I'm reading on fucking Wikipedia. Okay? Okay, here we go. Let's get into the deep nitty-gritty details now. Okay, look, dude, I'm not saying any of this is believable. And look, if you're from the Church of Scientology, I'm not even saying that any of this is wrong or that it didn't happen. Okay, don't kill me. Don't come after me. I don't want it. I'm purely curious about what you guys got going on. The question of this Reddit post was, what is Scientology and why are so many people against it? Scared by His Femies says, it's a religion/cult founded by a science fiction writer named L. Ron Hubbard. It markets itself aggressively, especially towards celebrities, which is why it's especially famous. Celebrities like Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Elizabeth Moss, and many more have been pulled into it due to the Church of Scientology aggressively recruiting celebrities and treating them much better than normal non-famous members. The church used to run commercials for their late founder's books, Dianetics, on TV frequently. They're an extremely wealthy and influential group. They have large amounts of lands in California, including a compound with armed guards. They own much of Clearwater, Florida, and have a center in most major cities worldwide. The church markets itself with a focus towards self-improvement. One of the main practices of the church involves something called auditing, which involves you being put on a device called an e-meter, which looks like 2 tin cans wired to a machine. You are asked to imagine things and measured by physiological response indicated by the device. It is said to detect body theodins, which impede your soul's innate ability to control MEST, in parentheses, matter, energy, space, and time. The church allegedly teaches you how to clear these body theodins. The process is called going clear, which is the goal of the church. The process involves buying and processing your way level by level through the organization, getting better at controlling your reaction to thoughts, memories, and people yelling at you, etc. You will spend thousands and thousands of dollars and be expected to spend most of your time there. If you have friends or family that try to question whether or not this is a good thing, the church will push you to disconnect from them. In the opinion of the church, you and everyone else in the church has a mission to save the universe. Some people sign a this is hilarious. Some people sign a billion-year contract to a quasi-military organization called the Sea Orgs. They ride on boats and are heavily disciplined. The core mystery behind Scientology is that billions of years ago, when the Earth was called Tijiak, the evil galactic overlord Xenu kidnapped a bunch of beings here and imprisoned them in volcanoes, man. That's what's fucking going on. And my fucking chair, dude. God damn it. I gotta just stop moving. But I'm getting excited because how do you not get excited about a story like that? I'm gonna read that back to you just because it was like, what? The core mystery behind Scientology is that billions of years ago, when the Earth was called Tijiak, The evil galactic overlord Xenu kidnapped a bunch of beings here and imprisoned them in volcanoes. This caused them to blow up, and now all of humanity have bits of these beings in our soul, which is where body thetans come from. But you won't be told this until you reach a high level, in parentheses, OT3, after you have spent years and years in the church and thousands of dollars. The church has a history of harassing their critics aggressively. They once infiltrated the IRS to obtain tax-exempt status in Operation Snow White. They have killed people with pseudoscience and neglect. The wife of the current leader of Scientology has not been seen outside of their compound since August of 2007, and she may be dead. Shelley Miscavige. They became a popular target online after the show South Park skewered them. A regular cast member of the show, soul singer Isaac Hayes, was a Scientologist. Despite the fact that mocking all religions was part of what they did, Hayes ended up quitting the show due to pressure from the church over the mocking on South Park. Then in the 2000s, after erratic behavior from Tom Cruise on Oprah and a leaked Scientology video that the church tried to remove, the internet group Anonymous went after them. I would suggest the book Going Clear by Lawrence Wright for more information. I mean, but right. Okay. So obviously the big one in that, the big paragraph in that response is about Xenu. So the next thing I Googled is Xenu. Xenu is a figure in the secret advanced technology teachings of the Church of Scientology. He's portrayed as a galactic ruler who, 75 million years ago, brought billions of people to Earth, then called Tejiak, stacked them around volcanoes, and killed them with hydrogen bombs. That's what they say. That's what Scientology is all about, I guess. Scientologists believe the spirits of these aliens called thetans attach to humans and cause spiritual harm. This story is known as Incident 2 and is a part of the space opera narrative within Scientology described in Operating Thetan Level 3. Let's click on that. I mean, never ever in my life did I think that I would find myself on Carnegie Mellon University's website reading about Scientology, but here we are. And look, the only reason I'm actually thinking about this shit recently is because a couple of months ago, me and Kirsten, we were at some god-awful store in some terrible home store, Home Goods or Marshalls or Michael's or some fucking terrible store like that, right? We're in a store like that. And I'm looking at phone cases because that's where I like to buy phone cases because they're cheaper. And, you know, I don't even like phone cases to begin with. So that's why I buy my phone cases. Okay, hold on. I got to check if we're still recording because it's been 30 minutes and my Apple Watch stops telling me. Okay, we're still going. But we're at fucking Marshall's, I think it was. We're at Marshall's. Wait. We're at Marshall's, okay? And I'm looking at phone cases. Kirsten's right next to me. But we're not like close enough together to where like if you didn't know us that you would know that we're like shopping together. Like we were kind of far away. And Kirsten gets approached by this lady with this guy who's like standing with her. And she starts like small talking Kirsten like, "Oh my God, like I don't remember what she asked at first, but it was a really weird, like small talk, weird, like small, like talk fucking in like first line to give somebody. It was like, "Oh, like, what are you looking for today?" Or like something like weird. Like she just like basically like when somebody's trying to start a conversation with you and you're not trying to talk to them or they know that they shouldn't be talking to you and they say something weird. She was just like, "Oh, like, you know, where did you get that? Where did you get that bag or something?" I don't remember how she approached her, but basically Kirsten is talking to this fucking lady. Okay. She's like a younger lady. She's probably my age or younger. And basically Kirsten was wearing, I believe, some of her earrings or something. I don't know how the conversation got there, but the lady basically got like the information out of Kirsten that she has her own business. Right. And the lady's like, "Oh, can I get your phone number?" And Kirsten's like, automatically, red flag. Red flag when you're asking me for my phone number at Marshall's. Okay? That's a red flag. And Kirsten goes, "No, here, I'll give you my business email," which basically means I'll look at this and probably won't respond. But, you know, hey. I'll give you my. It's like saying I'll give you my work email. When like, okay, sure, I'll give you my work email, but it doesn't mean I'm going to respond to your email because she knows that something's up. And basically, Kirsten gave her work email, and it was such a weird interaction that like the first thing that we both thought, like I had to go like basically peel Kirsten out of the interaction and be like, oh hey, are you ready to go type thing, and then we like left. We didn't buy anything because Kirsten, we were just like, what the fuck was that? This little white lady just asked way too much. And for the longest time, because she had like this dude with her, me and Kirsten were like, oh, like they were definitely trying to traffic your ass, right? Like they were definitely trying to put you inside of like an old Dodge Caravan and like take you to another state and sell you or whatever they do with trafficking. I don't know what they do. Sorry. And just because of how weird the interaction was, the fact that the guy that was with her didn't really say much, he was just kind of like standing in the background as if like he was instructed not to say anything. It was just a very weird vibe. Like all around, it was just, everything was weird about it. And recently, Kirsten kind of put two and two together because the whole time we thought that they were like traffickers. But then I was like thinking, I was like, why would this like little white lady like be a trafficker? Now, hey, look, I'm not saying that white people can't traffic people, but I'm just saying that this lady that I saw did not look like she was going to force Kirsten to get into a car in any way or like drug her or whatever. But that's the thing. I don't know the avenues of trafficking, but I'm just telling you, it was weird. But recently Kirsten was like, okay, I think I finally like put two and two together on what was going on. And I was like, what? And she said, well, where's the nearest Scientology center to where that Marshall's is? And it's like 2.5 miles. It's the one that I just so happened to pass by on my way home and to and from work every day. And I was like, it's like 2-3 miles away. And she goes, And she was like, because I was thinking about like that, like what happened at Marshall's the other day. And I think that instead of like them possibly being traffickers, I think they might have been Scientologists who were trying to recruit new members. And I was like, what made you say that? And Kirsten was like, well, you know how like she asked me about what I do. And I said, my business, that alone, having a business is like, you're obviously a motivated person that's trying to get somewhere. You're trying to do something. You got things to do. There's dominoes you're trying to knock over on your path towards whatever, right? And if Scientology's main like focus is like self-improvement, being better, going clear, wouldn't they want people who are highly motivated, highly driven, very productive, right? Because if you believe in yourself, you can believe in this craziness. You can believe in Xenu and the souls that are trapped inside of the volcanoes that haven't blown up yet, right? So Kirsten's theory is that instead of them being traffickers who were going to take her and fucking, sell her ass, her theory is that she was approached by Scientologists because we weren't that far away from a Scientology center. They were young. And the weirdest thing about it was that when the lady handed Kirsten her phone to put in her business email, this lady had like an iPhone 5. And this was in 2024. Now, I'm not judging you if you have an iPhone 5, but I'm just saying, how do you even still have an iPhone 5 that works? I thought that like all of those batteries like just blew up or like spontaneously combusted. That's a red flag. You have an iPhone 5 in 2025? Red flag. Automatically. Red flag. Red flag. Red flag. My bad. Red flag. Sorry. Sorry. Freudian slip. But no, seriously, dude. So Kirsten thinks she was actually she was getting recruited by fucking Scientologists. And now I'm sitting here and I'm like, damn, why didn't they approach me? Couldn't they? All of a sudden I'm like, damn, I want to be a Scientologist now if Kirsten's going to be one. But no, like I'm just very interested about their whole, like, what do they got going on? So like I've just been kind of looking into it more, and I'm not even critical of really like what they got going on. I'm just more so like very curious about what is going on with them, but I'm also not curious enough to go find out for myself. Like I refuse to go to the Scientology Center on Hollywood Boulevard and like grab a pamphlet. I refuse to do that because I know I'm susceptible, dude. I'm a believer. I can believe in a lot. I mean, look, the odds are stacked against me, but I still believe in myself. So you're damn fucking right. I can believe in the fact that Xenu fucking locked those people in a volcano and the volcano blew up because of a hydrogen bomb. And now all those little souls are in all of our souls, and we have to get them out by auditing. We have to get the engrams out of our souls by auditing and telling the truth. while also simultaneously paying money for all of the different books that change every year, because Scientology is like college, where like they reprint the books every year, so you have to buy more books, and if you don't, then you're not going to go clear. How are you ever going to go clear if you don't have all the newest texts, all the newest literature? You know, I don't even think I have enough money to be a Scientologist. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that I would like join Scientology and like be. I wouldn't be like the Tom Cruise type of Scientologist where like I'm on Oprah and like jumping on the couch and like going crazy and like, you know. I think I would be like the Scientologist that like I probably like I'm like the security guard at one of the offices, or like I'm in like the parking, like I work in the parking booth at the Scientology center. You know, because I don't think they would see it in me. So maybe that's why they didn't approach me. But hey, look, Scientologists, if you're out there, just know I'm not going to join, but I am very interested in learning more about Xenu and what his story was, because that is Xenu was an extraterrestrial ruler of a galactic confederacy who brought billions of people to Earth, then known as Tegiak, in a DC-8-like spacecraft 75 million years ago, stacked them around volcanoes, and killed them with hydrogen bombs. Official Scientology scriptures hold that Thetans, immortal spirits of these aliens, adhere to humans, causing them spiritual harm. These events are known within Scientology as Incident 2, and the traumatic memories associated with them as the Wall of Fire or R6 implant. The narrative of Xenu is part of Scientologists' teaching about extraterrestrial civilizations and alien interventions in earthly events, collectively described as space opera by L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard detailed the story in Operating Thetan Level 3 in 1967, warning that the R6 implant, in parentheses, past trauma, was calculated to kill by pneumonia anyone who attempts to solve it. So basically, if you try to heal yourself of trauma without the help of the church, you are going to die of pneumonia, basically. And that's just what they say. That is just what's going on with them, you know? So, hey, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what they actually got going on over there, but I do know that, that I think it's a little bit too far-fetched for me to buy into the whole thing. But like I said, I would still love to learn more about what they got going on, because I think it's very interesting. And, you know, I got some time. So I don't know, man. But I know I just went on about Scientology for fucking 40 minutes, but that's what I wanted to do to end the episode. I want to call the Church of Scientology. I'm going to call the main office, and I'm going to do it on speaker. Let's call them. Hello?
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Am I bothering you?
No, why would you? Unless you're coming with some negativity, that would be bothering me. But if you're positive, good vibes, then I'm here.
I'm not coming with any negativity in any sort of way. Let me say that first of all. What I'm here to do is I'm just here to ask you one thing, and I'm seriously curious about what you guys have going on, and I'm not even saying that in a negative way. I'm seeing a lot of negative type of talk about you guys online, and I'm genuinely curious. If I wanted to get, first of all, can I get your name?
No.
What?
I'm the receptionist here.
Okay, so how do I get someone's name that I could maybe call back at a later time and speak to? Or do you think this is a good time?
I mean, yeah, just ask me the question now. And if I do feel any bad vibes, I'm sorry, I'm going to end the cycle, end the conversation.
I totally get it.
But if it's good vibes, if it's like just curiosity and stuff, I can totally handle that. You know what I mean?
I'm straight up just curious because I'm not gonna lie. I believe that I was approached by somebody who might have been a part of your organization, and I'm not saying it was like a negative way. Let me just say this. I had an interaction with somebody at a store, and they mentioned your guys's your name basically, right? And I was like, "Oh, what's up?"
Like they mentioned Scientology.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what happened, and I was just like, you know, because like honestly, I haven't really looked into you guys much, and I have like I've only I've only seen what I've seen on social media, and I don't feel like that's a fair depiction of anybody truly.
Right, right, right.
You know,
Yeah, true.
so I want to know. I don't know anything about you guys other than like a very basic Wikipedia search, and I did a couple of I'm not gonna lie. I went on the dark side of Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
I went on Reddit, and there's some people on Reddit that
Oh.
are saying some
Oh.
negative things.
Yeah, I get it.
So what do you have to say?
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say about the organization? And what would you say is
Like,
the
what do I have
most
to say about it? Like, here's the thing. I'm a Scientologist, been a Scientologist for about 8 years.
8 years? Okay.
The word Scientology means study of knowledge. It's a philosophy, an applied religious philosophy that allows you to know how to know things and solve the problems of your life. When I'm saying that, like, just imagine. Are you there?
I'm there. I'm here. Sorry.
Okay. So just imagine if you can really get rid of anxiety or overthinking or insecurities and find the source of that within yourself, or learn how to know who to trust because there's trifling people out there, or
There
having
is
better
trifling
relationships
people out
and
there.
finding the yes, finding the fundamentals of life. Like if you can do that, like just imagine how much freedom you will have in life, how much better you would feel. So that's what we have here. We do classes and we do spiritual counseling so if people can achieve those things. It's a very simple thing. Now the negativity there, somehow people just take it and run it and just like, there's all this, it's just like kind of fluffed up where people believe it and they just, or they don't even know what it is and they just keep saying that one thing and everybody believes it or a lot of people believe it and it just runs by itself with no truth attached to it. People make money and all these things, and
right.
It's pretty wild, and it's discussion. Like the deep side of Reddit with all this is discussion. It's something to talk about.
True.
People take the name of
It's not
Scientology
fact.
because
It's
it's a
not
very
fact.
big name, right? They take the name of Scientology. It's a pretty big name. It's something to talk about. It's gossip. It's blah blah scandal blah. Like really wild stuff. And then just gossip. And haven't actually even been in here. Like some of the main people who are spreading the falsities or haven't even been in here. It's actually one of the wildest things I've ever experienced as a human being on this earth.
So,
but
you're
muting me while I'm talking. Muting yourself while I'm talking.
No, I'm not. But okay. I'm being serious. Like, so in a sense of like, you know how you're saying that like people that don't really know are talking about it, right? And if that's what's happening, then why then wouldn't you as a genuinely curious human being just go and hear out the organization that people are trying so hard to like give a bad rep to?
And we actually have people like that. Like you're calling and asking genuine questions, and people come in every day just out of curiosity, like, hey, I've heard this, but y'all seem this way. I've heard this, but it seems like you're doing this. Like it's yes, a good percentage of people are actually aware enough and awake enough to be able to be like, whoa, wait a minute, what do you actually do?
I'm fully awake. I had like 2 Celsiuses today.
You have 2 what?
2 Celsiuses. Have you tried Celsius?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a drink at 7-Eleven.
It's actually pretty. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, it's pretty cool to like experience that end as well, where it's like people who just come in and find out for themselves. Like it says so much about those people, and I appreciate that. For the ones who just blindly believe it and just parrot it, all right, I got it, but I don't have to fixate my attention on these people.
110%.
People who can, yeah. Here's the thing. I have some things I gotta do. Do you live in LA?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you can just stop by in the information center and have a chat. Otherwise, I gotta go.
All right. Well, it was great talking to you. Thank you so much for like just the small amount of information that you had. I think that you gave it a fair, like you gave my question a fair shot. So thank you for that.
Sure. And what's your name?
I can't tell you because you didn't tell me yours. And what do you think this is?
Okay. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye. And that is why sometimes you just have to call the restaurant, Because Open Table will say, "Hey, dude, we don't have any tables tonight," but sometimes you just have to call the restaurant. All right. Other than that, the Lakers lost, and that was really frustrating. I'm not going to act like I'm actually hurt about the Lakers losing or whatever, but I'm just it's that's the thing about having LeBron James on your team is like you don't know what next year will bring in a sense of is he going to be gone? Is he going to he's definitely not going to want to make less money for us to have a better roster. So it's like, are we just going to run it back with the same team next year and like, switch a couple of role guys around and pray to God that it works out next year? I just don't know if that's going to work. I mean, the Wolves look good. The Rockets took the Warriors to 7 games. I mean, the NBA is a younger man's game now. And I think as much as we all love to watch LeBron, fucking flop out there and, get the most calls of all time. I mean, like, even as a Laker fan, I see some of the calls he gets and I go, what? How? I go, what? This guy obviously is like, I'm not saying protected, but he is, he's definitely favorited by the league and by the refs and everything. You have to give LeBron the call, basically. So, I don't know. That shit bummed me out. I wanted to see the Lakers go at least to the second round. I mean, shit, the second round would have been nice. Get bumped in the first round by the Wolves. I don't know, man. That was tough. That was really tough to watch, but I didn't even smoke my whole shit, bruh. I really didn't even smoke my whole shit. I realized I have to get tires soon, which is a bummer because tires are expensive. And like I know I could go get like used tires or whatever, but like I just don't like doing that. Like the way that I see it is, I chose to buy an older car for the simple reason that I wouldn't have a payment and that I actually enjoy my car. And when I did that, I kind of came to the understanding that there would be some months where I'm going to have to spend the amount of money on my car as if I did have a payment, right? And that's okay because I don't have a payment every month and there's nobody that I owe money to, which is very important that I don't owe anybody money. But now I'm like staring down like $700 tires for all 4 and I'm like, fuck. Maybe I'm like, fuck, man. It's tough. But I understood that when I bought the car. God damn, this shit keeps going up. I understood that when I bought the car, So like I can't sit here and complain. And like I've spent way less money in other months. And that's the thing, like there's nothing wrong with my car. I have no check engine light. I got no fucking weird symptoms of anything. I get a weird noise every now and then and I get kind of curious about it and then I go on a rabbit hole on like a forum for like a couple hours and like I spend the whole night worrying about what could possibly be wrong with my car. But then I wake up and I go out to my car the next morning and I start right up and I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. But I don't know. I that's the thing is like working on cars in a weird way is like kind of in my blood. Like it's like what every male in my family does for the most part. My grandpa's always worked on cars. He used to do body work and my uncle's was a mechanic for a long time and I've always been interested in cars too, but I just I never really needed like a hobby before up until recently where I was like, okay, I need like other things going on in my life instead of like worrying about comedy and having a relationship and having a job. Like I need to have like another thing that like is cool that like I'm actually like just doing for fun and like tinkering around with, and that kind of just ended up being my car. And like every month or so, every other month I'll spend $150 and like buy a couple parts for my car, and planning on doing like a whole refresh of a couple of different systems on the car. So I'm gonna do like a cooling refresh. I'm gonna do a new water pump, do a new thermostat. And I know Scientology has nothing to do with this, but I'm just catching up with you guys because I'm finally fucking chilled out on Scientology shit. I got new belts. I got new pulleys. I know I need an alternator because when I bought my car, I got a really good deal on it. And it's an older car and it has a good amount of miles, but for the engine that's in the car and just for the car overall, I know that I paid a little bit of like I paid a pretty good amount of money for it, but like it wasn't like, oh, I got fucked. Like I actually got a good deal on it because there was body work on it that needed to be repaired, that I somehow through the grace of God, somebody at my job dropped a pallet on the front of my car and they fucking painted my whole shit, and they repainted, they resprayed my bumper, they resprayed my hood. Luckily the car's black, so it's not really like hard to paint match, but polished my headlights. That was done for free. So like, there's gives and takes in the car thing. But basically what I'm trying to get to is I'm getting more handy because I want to be able to take care of the things that I own. If I like the things that I own, I should know how to take care of them and I should know how to maintain them. And, so I've already done like 2 oil changes since I've owned the car. Cars has like 11,000 more miles than when I bought it. There's obviously moments where I don't like having an older car, like when I go to the gas station and shit, I'm like, fuck. But what it takes away from me in gas money, it gives me in smiles and just overall drivability. It's a big boat, but it's really fun to drive because it has really good suspension. And yeah. Anyways, I've been trying to get better on working on my car. I did a pretty big job a couple months ago. I replaced this like main breather valve on my engine and I had to like remove a whole bunch of shit. I had my car completely taken apart. It was pretty crazy. But I got it back together and it got back together and it was better, and no codes once again. So I'm just like, hell yeah, I'm on a good vibe right now as far as taking care of my car and learning more about my car and learning more about what the little intricacies of the chassis of 5 Series that I have. I'm not bragging, it's an old 5 Series, but I like that. Some people would if you read some articles, some people would say it's the best sedan chassis of all time, and that's just what some people say. But I know there's a bunch of Honda people that are gonna be like, fucking Accords are sick, bro, or like Camry guys, but I'm just saying, one of the highest rated chassis of cars of all time, as far as just overall looks, overall drivability, overall reliability. Unless you have a V8. If you have a V8 E39, if you have an E39, like a 540 or an M5, then you got to start worrying about some other stuff that's actually really costly to keep up with. But I have an inline 6 and it's not that fucking hard to maintain. A lot of the stuff you can do if you have a weekend and a couple beers and some tools and maybe a friend. So I don't know. I like talking about my car, but I can't really just like talk to Kirsten about it because that's kind of lame and I don't want to bore anybody else about my car. So I'm just like, all right, I try to keep my conversations for like what the environment is. So like if I'm at a comedy show, I'm talking about comedy, or like I'm talking with people that are talking about comedy, or if I'm at work, I'm talking about work, or I'm talking about cannabis, or I'm talking about weed, or I'm talking about fucking rosin or whatever. Okay. If I'm watching a game, I'm talking about sports. What do you guys think about mixing friend groups? I know there's people that have very strong opinions about mixing friend groups. Like some say you should never mix friend groups depending upon, what your friend groups are, how many people versus how many people are in this group versus how many people are in this group. I don't know how I feel about that. I think mixing friend groups is fun. And I think that ultimately, sure, even if they never talk again, at least they're like, oh, well, like, hey, look, I met one of Robert's other friends and he's actually kind of cool too. Or I met this person's other friend and she's really nice. And I know there's people that don't like mixing friend groups at all, but I think I'm pro mixing friend groups. And I the more interracial, the better, honestly, too. Like I love, because Kirsten sells jewelry for a living. www.mishbottega.com, mushbottega.com. Kirsten sells jewelry, and that's her job. And sometimes we go and do pop-ups. And one of my favorite things is like, dude, I love seeing like a group of like younger kids that are like, in definitely like high school age, and they're like super interracial friend group. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like there's like a kid from fucking Guam. There's a kid that's like probably from Guam or some shit. And then there's a black girl, but she's like kind of like emo black girl. Like she like, like she shops at Hot Topic and she listens to My Chemical Romance a lot. you know. And then there's like a nerdy Asian guy, and he's just for some reason he's holding a TI-84, like Texas Instruments TI-84. He's just holding one, and you're like, you know what, dude, I love your guys' friend group. And there's like a white kid too, and his name's Dylan, and he's just vibing out. He's a regular white kid. He's wearing Ruka. You know, he's wearing actual Ruka in 2025, wearing Ruka. And then you look over and there's a kid on crutches, and you're like, what? You're fucking, what's wrong with you? I fucking hurt my leg playing soccer, man. And you're like, oh shit, dude. You got brown, you got white, you got black, you got broken. What? How could this get any better? And then sure enough, bro, you fucking look over there and there's a little kid right there with a little blind stick. I don't even know what they're called. What are they called? There's blind sticks. What are those things called? Fuck me, bro. Keep dropping fucking lighter and shit. What are those called? What are the sticks called that blind people use? They're called a white cane. Well, okay. Just trying to talk about how it was good that young kids have very interracial friend groups, and I'm like, oh, what's the stick called that the little blind kid would be using in the fake scenario, Siri? And she tells me a white cane, you know? But I don't know. I just think it's cool because, like, at least for me, I mainly grew up at a school that was like either predominantly Mexican people, and like there'd be a couple of black people sprinkled in or whatever, and then there'd be like 3 white people in your grade. In your grade, there'd be 3 white people, maybe. And then I went to other schools where it was like it was like the United Nations. Like my high school was like the United Nations. Well, at graduation, I couldn't even tell you. Like I went to a high school that the people's last names at graduation were so like difficult for an American tongue to say that I wasn't even really mad when they fucked up someone's last name. And I get it. It wasn't me. They didn't fuck up Hernandez. They didn't fuck up Hernandez. I bet that's how she said it. Or Robert Hernandez or Robert Hernandez. I don't remember like who said it, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, you're not going to fuck up that name. You know, that's an easy name for an American tongue to say. It's close enough to Gonzalez, you know? So like, they're going to get it. But I swear to God, I went to school with like, you know, people that had ethnic, like very ethnic last names. And the way that some of those people's names got absolutely jumbled and fumbled at graduation, I felt so bad. I was like, oh, you should have put this into Google. Like, hey, counselor, hey, vice principal that fucking, you know, hey, vice principal that your whole entire job is to just know how to say their names correctly as you're announcing the fact that they completed the basic amount of education that we have to complete. Couldn't you just do that for them? Couldn't you just type it in on Google Translate and then press the little speaker thing, and then it would say it, and then you would know how to say it? Couldn't you have just done that? They didn't even give you that respect. But anyways, dude, I loved going to a high school that had hella different like ethnicities and cultures and shit like that. Shit was super dope. And my girlfriend always tells me about this story when she was younger where I guess someone like judged her for having like a smelly lunch, but she didn't like think it was smelly. And like, I guess like to me, that type of shit never really happened to me. Cause like I never was like pulling up to school with like fucking mole. I never pulled up to school with mole. I pulled up to school with like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? I got a pizza Lunchable and some fucking celery. Like I got some celery peanut butter with raisin boats. I think my grandma calls them ants on a log. Man. That's how I was pulling up to school lunch. I was like, oh, I got the chicken nugget Lunchable with the Kool-Aid jammer inside, and my nana also packed me a ants on a log. And people will go, what's ants on a log? And I would go, oh, well, actually, you're fucking retarded, and really what it is just celery with peanut butter and raisins on top. You get it? Ants on a log. You ever think about that? No? Okay, well, hey, man, I can't say bye yet. That was awesome. I just got to say that was awesome. Okay. And, but Okay, I gotta actually sign off. Thank you for watching. Follow me on Instagram, Play Loose Ends, Robert Raymond Hernandez. Follow the TikTok, Play Loose Ends. Subscribe on YouTube, please. Subscribe on YouTube, like it, comment. Let me know if you're actually genuinely curious about the Church of Scientology. It seems like in the first kind of call that we had, I think it was a good one, so I don't know. But she wouldn't tell me her name, and why would I tell her mine, you know? So that's all I gotta say. Thank you for watching episode 25. I'll see you next week. You guys are the fucking best. I love you so much. I had to sign off. Bye-bye, babies.